to share with you guys today. I posted it earlier over the weekend and had a huge response from everybody on it, and that's what our project is today. We did last week, we did this ornament together, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Hi, Molly. Hi, Mickey. You guys are popping on fast. So this was last week's project, and I had showed you guys all the components to doing this piece last week, and then I got it done over the weekend and posted it, and I think it turned out super cute. I'm really happy with it. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I have prepared this one to get started, and I'm going at this a little bit differently than how I did mine. Hopefully it'll be a little easier. And I wrote out, because there's a lot of steps on this one. So I wrote out, hi Renee, I wrote out instructions, and if you guys would like to have the instructions on how to do this, the written instructions, just send me an email. I put the email address in the description, but you can email me at deborahbucherdesigns.gmail.com, and I'll pop these back to you in an email. So let's see, Lindsay. Oh, Scarlett. Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time either. Awesome. I got some old friends here today. Very cool. Okay, so we've got a lot to get done, so let's get started. So I started off with a blank wooden ornament. And if you guys, I should mention this, if you guys are interested in doing this on your own, I did put a kit together that has the tissue that has, let's see, it's not this tissue, it's this tissue. Okay, so it has the green plaid, and then it has I've been using this paper on projects. So the other one that you saw had this tissue, and it also has this tissue, and all of these patterns are on this tissue. And so I put together a kit that includes the tissue. It includes, let's see, it includes the wood ornament. It includes the tissue that I just showed you. It includes the Mylar Moose stencil. This moose stencil, and it has the trees and the snowflakes on it. It includes the words, not a creature was stirring, not even a moose. And this one is reusable. This one is adhesive and can only be used one time. And it also includes Royce's new stencil release, and this is the snow globe that we're using on here. So the kit includes all of that. It's on my website. It's listed under kits, and it's also listed under stencils, I believe. It's listed in 2 places. So if you're interested in getting a kit and doing one of your own, and it includes the ornament, you can go on my website for that. And that would be deborahbucherdesigns.com for that. Okay, so let's get going. So what I did differently on this time around is that I laid the snow globe stencil I'm going to put the camera down. Okay, I think I got a good location there. I have so much stuff on this table, you guys. So what I did this time, on the first one, I had painted the whole thing white because I hadn't quite figured out what I was doing. So when I figured it out, then I had to carefully go around the white on here. And so I thought I would do it the reverse. So I put the stencil down, I took a pencil, I drew the outline, and I painted the red around here. Now I'm going to put the stencil back on and line it back up. And I'm going to trace the inside of it, because now we're going to paint the white part, the sky part of the inside of the globe. So I'm just going to take my pencil, and I think it might just be a little redundant doing it this way because I've already got that red line around it. That shifted a little bit. I was trying to come up with a way that made it easier. And where is, here it is. Okay. So we'll take that off. And now I know where the inside portion of my globe is. And I'm not worried about this portion down here at this moment. So all I want to do right now is, whoops, I want to do one more thing. I want to come down to this section here. Okay. My pencil didn't draw. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to use a combination of cotton and Savannah Mist. And if you have fluff and you don't have cotton, that will work great. If you have a light blue color, because all we want is, we basically want a whitish blue background. We don't want it completely solid. And if you guys have questions or comments and stuff, I'll take a look at them in just a minute. And I just did something that I tell you guys not to do, and that is to shake it. And I want to get that wiped up. I don't want it getting on my project. So you guys, I started off and I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Deborah Bucher with Deborah Bucher Designs, and I own Deborah Bucher Designs, and I come live every single Tuesday. I'm adding a little water because this is pretty thick. I come live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And you can find me on Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And if you would go to my YouTube channel, I do put content over there that isn't on Facebook from time to time. And like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would really, really appreciate that. I am working really hard to build that. Okay, so this Savannah mist is pretty thick. It's a pretty old jar of it, and it doesn't really matter because we're gonna water it down anyway. And I'm going to add some cotton to this. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit of water because all I'm doing is just blending the sky. And so I don't want it to be solid. And I don't want to get my shirt in this, so. And if you use, this is an inexpensive set of brushes. It's a whole set, and I get them at Michael's. And the brand is Michael's brand, and it's Artist Loft. And it is a really good set. For an inexpensive set, and I've been using them for a long time, it's a really good set. And the reason why I mention it is this is a nice square tip brush, and it allows you to do really good, even, straight lines without a whole lot of work. And when you're doing something like this, that's what you want. So all I'm doing is just outlining, just laying the brush down and letting the brush do all the work. And I just want this to be the sky part of our globe. And if you're just coming on, I promise I'll come back and do a proper hello. I'm going to give this another little squirt of water. Let's see. Oh, that's my little scruffy. I don't know what he hears, but Okay, and then this doesn't go down to here, it just goes down to the end of this line. And I want some variation in here of the white, the fluff. Actually, it's the cotton. I don't want it to have too much blue sky, just a hint. And this blue I'm using is called Haint. And honestly, I don't even know what Haint means. Do you guys know what Haint means? I should look it up. But it's just a hint of blue. I'm just scrubbing that in because it had already started to dry a little bit and had a ridge on it, and I don't want ridges. So you can see I keep adding water to this. And again, this squared off brush is your friend. And those brushes are not expensive. And you know, Michael's has their 20% off coupon when things aren't on sale. And then they have a 40% off coupon when things, well, they don't have their 40% anymore. They discontinued that, but they do put these on sale. So if you just watch, and that's what I do, generally I don't buy anything that I'm in there for unless it's already marked down. I do the same thing with Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby is a little more predictable. They put everything on sale 40% off every other week. So if it's not on sale this week, I just wait till next week and go in and get it. Okay. So that's that. Let me turn it around and look at it this way. I'm gonna give it a little more mist. And I think that looks good. I like the shading in it. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is hit it with a hair dryer. Actually, it's not a hair dryer, it's a craft tool. Ooh, I splattered there. When did I do that? All right, I'll have to go back with my Barn Red and touch that up. No worries. Let me get this dry. So while that's drying, I'll go back and see what you guys have been saying. Hi, Sherry. Nice to see you. Hi, Deanna. Carmelita, hello. Thanks for joining us. Carmelita, are you by any chance, oh, I just went blank. Pamela's friend? You guys are being super quiet. Usually you're a chatty bunch. I want to get this good and dry. We're almost there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay the stencil back on top here. And I just want to line it up. It doesn't have to be exact because now we're going to paint with the midnight sky on it. I'm going to stand up to make sure I've got it lined up well. There, I think that's good. Okay, and I put tape over this section because I'm thinking, and you guys, I'm sorry I couldn't get the camera to reverse today. I tell you, every single week Facebook makes changes, and I really like having it reversed so everything you see is correct, but it would not let me do it. There wasn't even an option this time. So I'm not going to put in this line on this one. So I put tape over it so I wouldn't accidentally do it because it actually interferes with Not a Creature Was Stirring. I think this one is fine, but you know, since I'm doing another one, I'm trying to improve upon it. And so what we're going to do now is do the outline. Let's see. I don't want this piece here. And you guys, just so you know, I'm doing this completely different than I did the first one. I mean, the end result should be the same, but the process is different. And I thought it might be easier, but I'm not sure that's gonna be the case. Okay, so I'm using Dixie Belle Midnight Sky, and you can use any color that you choose. I'm going to close these up so I don't accidentally have a spill. Midnight Sky is not as black as Caviar. Caviar is Dixie Belle's blackest black if you're using the chalk paint. And I didn't want it to be quite as black as Caviar, and Midnight Sky is a really good option. Midnight Sky kind of reminds me a little bit of a chalkboard, a black chalkboard color. So again, this one's kind of thick. I'm gonna give it a little squirt of water. I've probably had this jar of paint for 3-4 years, so that's a testament to how well Dixie Belle paint will hold up over time. Okay, so I'm going to take a smaller brush. I think I will use this one and just put a little paint on the brush, and I'm just going to go in, and I want to hold down firmly so that there isn't any seepage underneath. And I'm just going to stencil on the globe. And I'm just doing, right now I'm just doing the outer edges. You guys, I am not a good bow maker, and I've had to make a bow for each one of these projects this week. YouTube is a wonderful thing. So I just went on YouTube and watched a couple of videos till I found a bow that seemed simple enough that I could manage it. And I have to tell you, I'm really quite proud of myself. I was really happy with each bow. But I am not a bow maker. Now I'm holding down this stencil because it has a tendency to lift up, and I don't want to end up with paint seeping underneath it. And because this paint has thickened up somewhat, that's to my advantage. And I am going to do this portion here. And on some of the pieces I've seen Royce do, because this is her stencil, this is her design. I've seen her on the inside here use white, like you would see a gleam of light reflecting. And I sat here and thought about this one today, and I thought, no, I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the Midnight Sky. But you could use a white over that. You also could use a spray adhesive on the back side of these stencils. I've done that from time to time. I'm just making sure that I'm holding it down to the surface. And I'd like to mention too, if you are here locally, this Saturday, the 28th at Ground Floor Artist, which is where I have my studio, I am teaching a class on the canvas bag. I don't have it here to show. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, I was saying about the canvas bag. The class is filling up, but I do have a few seats available. So if you are here locally and you would like to take that class, there are a few seats. You can go on my website and under events, sign up for that class. That canvas bag is super pretty and a fun project. My two favorite things that I've done lately is these two ornaments and that bag. I've really, really enjoyed creating these three pieces. Okay, let's see. I can just see a couple of white spots in there. I want to just be sure I get. Okay, and then this part down here needs to get painted with the black also. I said black, but it's not exactly black. Oh, Deanna, thanks for putting that link in for me. That was awesome. Thank you for doing that. I glanced over there and I was like, huh, how did that happen? Magic. Okay, so this paint is pretty thick, which is good on the one hand because it shouldn't seep under, but on the other hand, it's making it a little trickier to get on here. It's taking me a little more time. And I tend to be methodical anyway. I'm not a, this is supposed to be relaxing and fun, so rushing along is not my thing. Okay, and then we've got this portion down here. But if you guys are in town locally and you don't have something already planned for Saturday, I would encourage you to come take that class. That's going to be really fun. And you'll be surprised. The pictures don't do it justice. The bag is really, really pretty. And I'm making them for family and special friends to put their gift in at Christmas. So it's like a double gift. They get a gift inside and the bag is a gift. And there, you don't have to do the same design that's on that bag. There's many other Christmas and holiday designs to choose from. And in my opinion, you may want to do more than one bag because there are so many options and choices. And the bags are not expensive. I get them at Michael's, and your class will provide you with everything that you need. But if you do want to do additional bags, you can just get them at Michael's. I'll have some extra, but I don't know how many extra I'll need. Okay, I think I got it everywhere. So what I'm going to do now is just carefully lift it straight up. There we go. Voila. Okay, and I need to just find a safe place to put this down. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you guys is this is Roy Cycles. There are 5 stencils that she just released, and this is the one that is a companion to go inside the globe. So if you didn't want to do what I'm doing in it, there's a snowman and the house, and you can't see it, but it's got smoke coming out of the chimney, really pretty snowflakes, and a tree and deer scene. So I have the full stock of all of Roy Cycles' new tissue designs. Okay, so the next step on here is I'm going to mix a small amount of salt wash, And if you have the Dixie Belle Sea Spray, that is exactly the same thing, works the same way, and that'll work just fine. I just happen to have the salt wash handy, and so that's what I'm using today. Get this closed up. And one of the things about using the salt wash is you don't want to wash it down your sink. So I always, because it will clog up your plumbing. So I always just get a little dish, a little plastic cup of any kind, and I just take, it has a little scoop that comes with it. It takes less than what you ever think. So you can always add more. It's better to start off with less. And I'm going to use the white paint. And what I'm doing is I'm creating the snow along this area. And I'm going to use cotton. If you have Fluff or any white paint, will do just fine. It's probably more than I need. And just stir it up. And you can use this for doing raised stencils on furniture. So if you have a stencil and you want to make a raised design on it, this is exactly the same thing that you would do that with. Okay, so I've got it all mixed up, and that looks like about the right texture. I get peaks on it, and I want to have some peaks. And so now I'm just going to lay it down in this area in here where the snow would be at the base of the snow globe. And I'm just using my popsicle stick to just move it around. And you can see I can get my little peaks on here. And when it dries, I used extra fine glitter on it. But I let it dry first, which the reason for that is I went over it with a satin top coat first. I went over the whole piece with a satin top coat to protect it. And then when I was ready to put the glitter on, I painted more satin top coat on top of the snow, and then sprinkled my glitter on top of it, and it adhered really nice. Just lifting it up over here, dropped glitter. So you could do this with a palette knife, but since I stirred it up with a popsicle stick, I'm just using the stick to put it down, and that works. It works really well. Let me see if you guys have questions. Hi, Lorraine. Thanks for joining us. You can always go back and watch the replay. Molly, do you use glitter or diamond dust? Diamond dust would work fine. It would work really well. This is extra fine glitter. I don't actually have any diamond dust. I know, shocking. Whatever you normally use with your craft projects would be fine. I don't think there's any rule. I might have to mix a little more of this. When I did the first one, I had all kinds of snow left over and I let it dry in my container so I could scrape it off into the trash. This time I might have not mixed up enough, which is no big deal. I can just always add to it. When I'm in here working on my projects on my own, I have a TV right there and I listen to my programs, or I do watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I just putz along at my own pace. When I'm doing this for you guys, I feel like I need to like hurry up and get it done. And I'm not a hurry up kind of girl. I might just have just the right amount. I'm scraping the jar, you guys. Now that I have it on there, I'm just spreading it out a little bit more to the top. Kind of making my snow drifts in there. There, I think that looks just lovely. Okay, close back up my cotton. Okay, so you guys, just to review, that was with the salt wash or the sea spray if you're using Dixie Belle, and then you can mix this with any color paint, but since we wanted snow. And so I'm gonna let that just set. So what I did next is, and I pre-cut this. Let me find where it went. There he is. Okay, so if you guys order one of the kits, it will come with this stencil with the trees and the snowflakes and the moose. And what I did for the moose, you can fussy cut him out with scissors, but I have found, this was one of the tricks that I learned at Ground Floor Artists in my classes that I've taken there, is using one of these cutting boards just makes, and an X-Acto knife just makes it so much faster and more accurate and easier to cut it out. So I just use an X-Acto knife and put my tissue paper down, and that was the sheet of tissue paper that I showed you, and just cut him out. And I did that just so I could be ahead of the game. So he's all ready to go on here. And I am going to take the dryer and just get a little bit of a crust on here. Deanna, I like the softness of this color too, and I can see I am going to have to touch up a little bit where I splattered over here, and I have just a little edge here that I need to touch up also, but I do too. It's not as harsh as using a black. Okay, that's got enough of a crust on it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our moose on here, and I have him standing in the snow. That's why I wanted to get a little bit of a crust on there. I'll show you on here. So his feet come down, and I've decoupaged him right into the snow. And so I just want to get him in position. And get another brush out. And I'm going to put a squirt of satin top coat on my dish over here. That's what I like to decoupage with. And the reason why I like to use it is that it is archival. It will not okay. It will not crack or yellow on you. So I'm just going to start over here on this end of him. I've got him positioned to where I want him and where I want his legs to be on here. So I'm just going to start putting down a little bit of satin top coat as my decoupage medium, and then just lay him down. And this is like anchoring him down so that the rest of them doesn't shift around on me. So I'll just lift up, go back underneath here, and just put down a little bit of decoupage medium. And for this piece, I like using the felt spatulas for decoupage. But for this one, I like using the saran wrap so that I can have a little more control over making sure I get this adhered down well. I think it's super fun to cut shapes of things out of decoupage tissue and add them to your design. I think it's just kind of unexpected. and it gives you a lot more design option. I can paint the same buffalo check. I've done it on many things. I've taught classes on painting buffalo check, but on such a small piece like this is actually much easier to just cut it out of tissue paper, and kind of opens up your thought processes looking at your decoupage tissue of different ways to use it. You don't have to use a whole sheet of it. You can cut shapes out of it. So I'm just putting down the satin top coat medium and then using the saran wrap on my finger to smooth it all down flat. And the reason why I'm not using just my finger is there's a lot of texture on your fingertips. That's why you can hold on to and grasp things with your fingertips, because there's a lot of texture on them. And I don't want that texture on my fingertips to catch and tear the tissue. And this tissue is 18-pound tissue, so it's not super delicate, but you know, once you get it wet, it is more fragile. But it's a nice weight of tissue paper to work with. Get that little moose head down, get his antlers secured. And by using the satin top coat, I'm going to go back over this whole piece when it's all finished and top coat over it. So this just all works really well together. Now I know that he's a moose, but my daughter has a cabin up in the White Mountains, and there are big herds of elk up there. And the first time I spent the night up there, I had a whole herd of elk, and I'm not even exaggerating, outside my bedroom window, and I'd never heard them communicating before. And it was the strangest sound, especially for an animal that you know is so big. They kind of like whistle. Okay, so his body is down. I want to get his legs down. And I want his legs to go into the snow. So I put down the medium liberally into the snow, and then I just take my brush and just work it down. We wouldn't want to set him on top of it. It would look, I think that would look funny, like he's on stilts or something. Had a little piece of my snow pop up there. Okay, and so I've got him nicely adhered down and he's wrinkle free. And I'm just going to put another coat of satin top coat over him. And if it wrinkles up on you a little bit when you put your top coat on, don't freak out because the paper has elasticity to it. And when it dries, it will shrink back down. So don't get all bothered if you see it wrinkling up a little bit, bubbling or wrinkling. That's to be expected and is perfectly normal. And I'm going to run the dryer over it just to set it. Looks like a little spot right there maybe didn't get enough medium underneath it. Okay, so I'm going to just run the dryer over it and I'll check your questions. Thanks, Fiona. I really think this is a fun project to do. There's all kinds of different elements in this. It's not the same old. And like I said, there were so many different steps and components in this that's why I thought if you were interested in trying to do this on your own, if you want the instructions, just send me an email at Deborah Bucher at Gmail, Deborah Bucher Designs at gmail.com. And I already have it all typed up and I'll just forward it to you. If you don't have supplies on hand and you would like to order supplies, I made it really easy and I put a kit together, assuming that you already had this kind of paint in your stash. And so I just put the kit together with Roy Cycle's stencil and the decoupage tissue and the stencils I created for the moose and the words. And it's under kits on my website if you're interested in that. Okay, so next we're going to do the stenciling up here on the top. I need to find my scissors on this messy table. Oh, I put them away. So what I did is I created this stencil so that it would fit inside here. And so the easiest way to put this on is to just cut it apart. And you can turn it over on the back side and hold it up. And you can see through it. I don't know if you can see through it on the camera, but I can see through it, so I'm not in danger of cutting over my words. It just makes it a little bit easier to get rid of the excess. Okay, So I'm going to stick this down and stencil it. And if you haven't seen me use adhesive stencils before, they're really easy, and why I like them so much, they're only usable one time, but the reason why I like them so much is you rarely ever get, oh, I just realized I didn't put transfer tape on this. I'm going to have to go put transfer tape on really quick. Sorry about that. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. My pup got up here. Did you guys see him? He got up here to look at what my project was. Okay, so this is what transfer tape looks like. And that's what makes it easy for us to transfer our stencils on. And when I do these for you, it looks much nicer and neater than what I just ran in there and hurried and did. And you don't have to trim these off normally, like I'm doing. Okay, so starting again. This is where it's going to go. And what you do is you peel off the back. The back is like contact paper. And you peel that off. And you just want to make sure that all the centers of your letters stay down. If they come up, you just lay it back down and rub it back on. That all stayed on. So that wasn't the best demonstration of what to do if it doesn't. And then because you can see through it, you want to position it and I think right there is good. So then you burnish it down really good with your fingers. And then you peel up carefully. You peel up the transfer paper. And when you get these kind of stencils from me, I always have instructions on what side to put down. I have complete instructions that I send with them. And so again, you want to just burnish that down. Okay. And then I'm going to use my Midnight Sky again. And if you are worried about seepage going underneath, you can always take, and I'll just demonstrate it, you can always just take a thin coat of your satin top coat. And I do this on stencils all the time, whether it's the Mylar stencils or the adhesive stencils. It seals, and if anything was going to seep underneath, it's going to be this, your satin top coat. Let's just hit it with the dryer real quick. It's transparent, so if anything seeps underneath it, you're not going to see it. And then when we go to put our color, whatever color that's going to be, and you could do any color on this, it doesn't have to be the Midnight Sky. It could be, you could do it in the red, which was Barn Red, but I like it in the black myself. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. I'm going to use the same brush that I stenciled with before. Okay, and then I'm just going to paint over, and I'm going to give it 2 coats. I love using the adhesive stencils. They're so fast and easy to use, and you always get a beautiful result. And if you've been hanging with me for any length of time, I'm sure you've seen me use a lot of them. And if you're working on a project and you need something of a specific size, you can always reach out to me. I've done lots of custom stencils for people. Okay, and then I want to hit it with a heat gun. Thanks, Fiona. Thanks for your help. We are running a little over today. It's a big project, you guys. And I want to put one more coat. I need just a skosh of water in there. Okay. And then I'm going to hit it with the dryer again. It does not need to be completely dry. In fact, I prefer to pull it off while the paint is still just a wee bit damp. And then you just lift up on it and pull straight up. And you get these beautiful, crisp letters. And then you can use a toothpick or your X-Acto knife, whatever you have on hand, and just pull out the centers of your letters. Just poke them and lift up. There you go. Not a creature was. So I know we're running Michelin. That's a scary part. It's actually, have you used the stencils before, the adhesive stencils? Because they're actually so easy to work with. I really love them. And I love that you can always count on having a good result. Okay, so now we've got to do the stirring part. So I'm going to trim it down again. And I don't know if you can see in the camera, I don't think you can, but I can see completely through here. So it isn't any guesswork of where I'm cutting. And then we're going to do the same thing. Not a creature was stirring. So I'm going to peel off the back that's like the contact paper. There we go. And so you just want to be careful that all your pieces, like the inside of the letters that I just pulled off, like this is a good example. See how the inside of the R stuck on there? So just lay it back down, burnish over it, and make sure that it just stays on there. The same thing is happening with the G here. Okay. So then I just want to center this. I think that's pretty centered. And then just rub it down. Okay, and then I'm going to pull off the transfer paper. That's the white paper that I forgot to put on it. And it's called transfer because it's actually allowing us to transfer. I just need to get it separated. Well, let me see if I can, yeah, this side's going to be easier. Okay, so I pull it off at a 45-degree angle like this. If I pulled straight up, it would lift up my stencil and possibly pull some of those little pieces like in the R's up with it, and I want to be sure that everything stays adhered, so pulling it up at a 45-degree angle helps that. And then again, just burnish it down with your fingertip really well. I can take a little bit of top coat just for added insurance. Doesn't take very much. Hit it with a dryer. Hi, Sherry. Yeah, it's a little tricky to get them centered. I hear what you're saying because, you know, I'm standing up, so I'm looking straight over it. And I think it's pretty centered. And now I'm just going to paint on the letters. This Midnight Sky is pretty thick. I don't want to get it too thin. Okay. So it just occurred to me, you guys, another fun thing to do is, you know how you see in all the gift shops and Hobby Lobby and all of those places, the wooden blocks. This would be a fun thing to do, decoupage anything onto one of those wooden blocks and put the saying on a wooden block. That would be really cute too. I have some wood scraps out in my workbench. I think I might grab one of those and do that. This heat gun, it's not a heat gun, it's a heat tool, but boy, it really puts out the heat and is super quiet. So I know we're running over today. I just quickly want to do one more thing on here and then I'll finish this up off camera, but I just wanted to show one more thing before I call it quits for the day. You guys have been super patient. Okay, so now I'm just gonna gently lift this up. It's so satisfying to do that and see how clean and nice that comes out. Okay. So you guys, I know that there's places on here that need touch up. I need to touch up this red where I splattered on, and there's a little edge around here and a little edge around there. I won't do that with you guys and take up your time, but the last thing I want to show is mixing the gold on here, because I'm using the WooduBend Posh Pigment Gold, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful gold, as you can see on here. And that's what I used all over using the stencil part. So like I laid my stencil down and just decided where I wanted the snowflakes and stars to go, and then just moved it around into the different places. But you do have to mix it. It's a pigment, and that's one of the things I really, really like about it, is that you only have to mix up what you're going to use, and then you don't have a whole bunch of it left over. So I'm going to set this aside for a minute. And I could use what I have left over with the satin top coat, but WooduBend does have an infuser, and see, it's just a powder. It's the Posh Pigment, and it comes in all kinds of really beautiful, beautiful colors. And this is the infuser, and I always had the hardest time getting this to open. Let me see if I can get it. Oh, it's starting to. There it goes. There we go. Okay, so this is the WooduBend infuser that they recommend that you use with these Posh pigments. And it just takes a little bit, a drop or two. And if you've ever melted gold or silver, this is what it looks like when you melt it. I used to do a lot of jewelry. And a little bit, you saw what a tiny, tiny bit of that was. Okay, so it doesn't take a lot. It didn't take a lot of powder, and it didn't take a lot of infuser. And I'm going to use a square tip brush again and just dip it in here, and I'm going to move this over here. Okay, and I just want to put this gorgeous gold down here. And it will take 2 coats of this for complete coverage. But again, the reason why I like these square tip brushes is because they give you so much control, and you can get straight lines, go right up to that edge. Get into corners. But I have to say, you guys, this is one of the, this one is called Pale Gold, and WooduBend pigments have 3 different golds to choose from. But the Pale Gold to me is my favorite. This gold would make beautiful lettering too. You guys are just hanging in there. Thanks so much. You get super good coverage with this. And again, all of these products are available on my webpage. And they are also available in my studio if you're here locally. And that's Ground Floor Artist in Surprise. Surprise! Okay, that's one coat. And just look at how shimmering pretty that is. I don't know if if the camera does it any justice, honestly. It's so reflective. I can't, the camera isn't doing it any justice. I'm going to give it a quick dry because it does take 2 coats for complete coverage. And I'm going to do one more thing and then I'm going to let you guys go. You have been amazingly patient today. I'm going to go back here and put another coat on here, and then I will stencil Not Even a Moose across the top of this. But I don't want to hold you guys up for that. I just want to show you, I'll do it on this side because I need to do a little touch up over here. But I just want to show you, as long as I have the gold mixed up, how pretty it does on here. So I think I'll just lay this one here, kind of like that. And I just take my brush and just stipple just straight up and down. And I'm going to do that little star. And then I want to just be sure and lift straight up. And voila! I have a perfect star. And so what I did on this one was I just went around and just randomly, you know, put another set down here, kind of reversed them over here, and put a little star down here on the bottom. And then there's actually one of these little stars up here, but it gets all covered up. And I painted the hanger with the gold also. So that's what it, and then I went back and top coated the whole thing with satin top coat. And let it dry, and then I let it dry completely, and then I put another coat of satin top coat here and sprinkled my snow glitter on top of just this section. The reason why I let the whole thing dry is that I didn't want to end up having glitter sticking to the whole piece. I just wanted this to be the focus with the glitter on it. So I'm going to let you guys go because you have hung in here with me for a super long time. What time is it? We've gone 40 minutes over, you guys. So let me pull the camera up. So thanks so much, you guys. I'm sorry this was such a long project. Hi, Jill. Thank you for the hearts. If you think this is something that somebody would enjoy on your page seeing, I would love it if you would share and sprinkle it around. Micheline, you're always so wonderful. I appreciate you so much. I really do. I appreciate all of you. You're very, very faithful. Oops, somebody just sent me an angry face. But you guys, I will get this finished, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. It's a really fun project. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. I'll go back and answer any questions you might have had that I didn't see while I was working on this. But you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you again next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Thanks so much. Bye.